Hello and welcome to this new episode of Let's Play Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. I am Cloud and we are playing the Imperial Campaign. This is actually the 10th episode in the series, and as the small celebration, what else could we do than to fail on the audio and having me to revoice the whole thing after recording. This was a whole hour's length of video which I just have to narrate now for you, so yeah, let's get into it. As a celebration fight, we have the Tyranids incoming as a story mission to 3 planets. I had read up on their ships and what they have, because I expect to see battleships here, and I have to tell you, they are real monsters. I'm not quite sure if they are balanced in PvP, but in PvE they just seem like to outclass anything and everything. They have the same hull and shields that the Imperial ships have. They are more mobile, have insane boarding power, and pretty much the same DPS as the Imperials. So actually, I'm deciding here to move this fleet to reinforce fire in Bellis Corona and delay the other attackers. I do have a lot of battle plans, so I can afford to use mines and battle plans to just delay the whole thing, and meanwhile hope that the threat gauge doesn't go too high and that we can actually manage to not get overrun by invasions until we finish these missions. So yeah, I'm bringing up those 2 Mars battle cruisers who will arrive to Bellis Corona in the next turn, because even with 4 movements they can't make it in a single turn, sadly. Once they are there, we will have a lot of Nova cannons to try and just whittle down the brunt of the enemy force and hope to survive. Once we have, if we can defend Bellis Corona with only the fleets and defense platforms, then we have a better chance to defend at the other 2 sectors, because there we can actually have space stations, which are really helpful and should be a great asset. Well, here in Nemesis Tessera we can get those, the platforms and the space station, and we will be able to get the space station and to bring up the fleets here. So I decided to delay and try to bring up powerful fleets, because yeah, the Tyranids are pretty brutal. Meanwhile, we also have a random invasion in this sector coming in this turn, and I also decide to not only to take all 3 fleets eventually, and some defense platforms. Considering here if I can get some new ships in line, I could actually buy them. I have forgotten that the space station in the Medusa sector is actually a shipyard once you upgrade it to level 2, which we have just done, so it doesn't have any construction points yet. And this fleet cannot add a battleship because we do not have enough construction points. So I just decide, okay, let's just keep the 2 cruisers and go with as many Nova cannons as we can. So we have 3 fleets and a 2,500 points Tyranid fleet advancing on us, which is gonna be a lot of fun. I can tell you in advance that not looking forward to this fight. But ending the turn, hoping for the best. And we get some more Dark Eldar raiders, but we don't even care about those now, because yeah, Dark Eldar, the Space Marines can deal with them even in their nerfed form. They are pretty good at fending off the Dark Eldar. But here we have 3 Tyranid fleets. Sadly we cannot see what they are composed of, because that would have saved us a pretty big surprise. I'm not gonna tell you what, but yeah, they do have a nasty surprise in store for us. We are pretty much kept here with the fleet. Cannot bring in all the cruisers we have. Just seeing if I can mess around a bit, leave out the Armageddon, bring in more cruisers at the start, because we really just want to spam Nova cannons at them. Perhaps have as many dictators and their flight crews as possible. Unfortunately, we cannot fit in one more ship. We could have the Armageddon because it's really cheap, but we cannot fit in more cruisers. So 4 Nova cannons it is, even with the Lunar. And we don't want to bring the Armageddon yet because we really need the room to be able to spam those Nova cannons. So the idea is that we will just fire away all the Nova cannon shots while the space stations tank the Tyranids, and once the Nova cannon shots are out, the cruisers will jump out and bring in the new ones. And finally, when those are gone, we will bring in the Armageddon and hope that the combined firepower of it and the other ships helps to destroy the Nids. Now, one thing of note is, for instance, the Apocalypse battleship, and as I have seen most of the Nova cannon ships, they tend to have somewhat low DPS themselves, which means that, for instance, the Retribution has twice the DPS, not counting torpedoes and Nova cannons, as the Apocalypse does, which means that once the Nova cannons are out, those ships are not too strong. Let's just say that their sustain is not that great, which means that fighting a lot of large ships with strong shields doesn't let us sustain, because once the Nova cannon shots are out, we are pretty much done for. The DPS falls off the charts, and the Nids will just overwhelm us if we cannot whittle them down with the Nova cannon. So that's why I have the plan that I will just fire the shots, jump out the ships, and replace them with new shots, and hope to get rid of the synapse ships, or at least the larger ships, and then just clean up the rest with the shots, with the normal shots of the fleet. Meanwhile, we have loaded into the battle, and this is a conquest battle. We will start with 2 zones captured by our weapon platforms, so I'm trying to burn for the 3rd one, which is closer to our platforms, see if we can capture that and stop the Nids there. Let them come to the gun platforms and just shoot them down as they are trying to kill the platforms. Okay, the battle is started. I'm burning, and I'm being a noob, I'm forgetting about setting stances for the fleet. I'm using lock-on the Apocalypse, because, and also the AdMech ship, or at least that's the plan, because they can shoot from really high ranges that way. The AdMech ship has a pretty big range by default, and the Apocalypse gets 9,000 range from the overcharged Lance's ability.
You have
So
seized a
I'm
strategic
kind of trying to
area.
keep them
You
around
have
for a
seized a strategic
range supporter
area.
role. I also forgot to burn with that ship, so noob mistakes right away.
With matchless efficiency.
Moving up those ships there, trying to cap the point. It would be nice if you could start with a 3 points versus 2 in the battle, because otherwise you might just lose the points. So that's why I was burning hard to try and get to that point before the Nids get there. And then just turn around and run away. I have fired an Ogre probe, and now we can see their ships. It's actually a battle cruiser. It should be a battle cruiser that we are facing here. It has strong weaponries, but it's not as scary as their battleships. So I'm like, okay, if this is only battle cruisers, then this shouldn't be as hard as I thought it would be. Because with that tonnage, we can still do a lot of damage using our Nova cannons that should just lay waste to their fleet if that's their largest ship. Usually the Synapse ship is the largest ship in the fleet, and that's a battle cruiser now. So I'm kind of having my hopes up. This won't be as hard as I thought.
Ship ready.
The
Let's see
enemy
what
has
the
seized a
computer thinks about
strategic
that.
area.
They immediately start for this area. It's not nice of them at all. But they have split their fleet. You can see that the other circle is turning red as well. So, yeah. I'm gonna try and stop them with Eye of the Omnissiah and the Stasis Bomb. Just try to line them up for a barrage of Nova cannons while I'm capturing that point.
Reaching nominal speed.
To let that point come to us, generate the conquest points, and then just shoot them down. As you can see, they are really nimble. It just keeps jumping forward and moves at really astonishing speeds. Meanwhile, our battleships are coming in range to start shooting. They aren't far enough, so I have to move them a bit further to be able to shoot their Nova cannons at the Nids. This is also about the range of their lance cannons. So once the Nova cannons are out,
We wait your
they
command.
should be able to fire, to turn their broadsides and
Enemy
shoot.
sighted.
Just need them to move up and then fire. Okay, I think this is a good enough range. The ship definitely is in range there. As you can see, it's dodging all of our... It's dodged the Eye of the Omnissiah, and it's almost getting
Cruising
out
speed
of the
set.
Nova cannon shots as well. And this guy has shot,
Conserve the
so
Omnissiah.
I'm deciding to turn around and
Enhance
start moving.
rotational drift.
So, hope to turn the
Underway.
broadside on this guy. Okay.
Execute high energy turn.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
So we are moving
Engaging
the broadsides now.
engines.
We have shot them.
You have
with some,
seized a strategic area.
Nova cannon shots, and we have also managed to
Enemy
turn the
sighted.
broadsides on them. He's at half health, but his shields are almost back. It's rolling really fast. He also has
Ship ready.
3 fires going on now, and some of his weapons destroyed. One of the Nids' ability is that they do not have a targetable
Starhawks
generator
loaded and
or
sent.
engine, which is just really awesome, because they weren't OP enough without that. And
Engage engine
light
red
critical
lines.
damage, they regenerate every
Understood.
20 seconds or 30 seconds. So unless you completely destroy a department,
We can't take much
it
more.
just comes back. And yeah, you can see there, that's also a battle cruiser that's just nibbed one of our stations. The other one is going to be dying soon, but we just ping the units here so we see what's coming for us. And now we are moving back our ships, and the Nova cannons are up again. As you can see, I still haven't put a stance on these ships because I'm an idiot. Otherwise we could have fired sooner, but yeah,
Enemy
and
sighted.
done more DPS. For now, I'm just trying to get rid of
We
that
lost a defense platform.
Synapse ships in the lead, and hope that we can put some pain into the oncoming cruisers and I think light cruisers. So we are turning around with these ships while the battleships should keep firing their broadsides at this guy. And we are putting up the Nova cannon to actually to decide whether we are shooting the Synapse ship or trying to shoot the larger fleet, deciding to do one
Machine
Nova
spirit
cannon on this
appeased.
guy, and turn around and
Aye,
shoot
Admiral.
with the other one as well.
Acquiring new vector.
Moving painfully so. This is where I noticed that I actually do not
Reloading.
have stances on my ships. I kind of liked it that you could set these before the battle, because that just helps
Your
you not
orders?
forget them.
Course
Probably
engaged.
wasted that shot there at that ship, because it's dying from normal fire there, but its shields are also almost back up, so maybe
State your
it wasn't
order.
such a bad call. Okay, Sinner ship is dead. Place the Nova cannon there in front of those guys, hoping that they will actually get into it. The AI has gotten better
Aye,
at
Admiral.
dodging these things now, which I'm really not happy about.
Receiving
See,
your
he's
order.
just moving ahead now with his jump skills. It's gonna give us a lot of headaches
We wait your command.
that he's able to just move out of so
Taking
fast.
heavy damage.
Let's try and see if we can destroy more of those.
We wait your
Deciding
command.
to turn the ships again, although the Nova cannon is almost up. But I need to bring in some
Your orders?
roadsides, because there's a lot of
We
ships
lost the
there.
defense platform.
Right, you could see that one of our defense platforms just
Your
blinked out
orders?
of life there. Not
Course
really
engaged.
something good, because that means the fleet on that side will be coming for us now once they have kept that point. Not fun. Not fun at all. We are going to target their weapons, because since they do not have engines and generators, I think the best target on those ships is actually the weapon systems. They usually do not have too many of them. If you can permanently destroy some at least, that will help you a lot when fighting Nids. It's really good if you can, those that have the tentacles or the maws that just gnaw at your ships when they ram you. Destroying those makes it really good, or gives your ships a better fighting chance when facing Tyranids. So
Ship
I
ready.
have slowed down the game. I know I'm mopping around a lot. It's just, this is a really tough battle.
Receiving your
And
order.
if you can play it on a full speed, then kudos to you, because I feel that in this one we are severely outmatched anyway. So yeah, more Nova cannon shots, trying to destroy that one last large ship in this fleet, hopefully saving that point from being captured by the Nids. Our
We
ships
wait
are
your command.
moving up to provide better fire coverage from behind them. Not sure if the stasis bomb was a
The
good
enemy
idea
is
there,
seizing one of your
'cause
strategic
actually it's
areas.
now preventing our ordnance from reaching them, or at least the gunshots. The cybernetic orb doesn't really reach that far.
To serve the Omnisire.
It does fly longer, but it just goes off into a
We are
strange
ready to
direction,
serve.
so
The enemy is
sadly
seizing
that-
one of
that
your
doesn't
strategic
help there.
areas.
And yeah, now they are essentially protected by the stasis bomb, except for the lances. And our
We
mechanic
serve.
cannons are not reaching them.
State
I
your
wonder if
order.
I can run
The
into
enemy
my
has
own
seized a
cybernetic
strategic
orb. I'm
area.
not fully sure. You can see that they actually managed to cap that point a little bit with all my firepower aimed at them. And
Receiving your
yeah, I
order.
also forgot to
The enemy has seized a strategic
there.
area.
have power, destroy their forces.
Transition begun.
You have accumulated
So far,
25%
so good,
of strategic
actually.
points.
We are... Yeah, that was a weird misclick. We have destroyed a good portion of their fleet and have accumulated a 500 points lead. And I thought that we were pretty good at this point. So we are getting ready to turn around and face them with broadsides and more Nova cannons as they advance on our remaining 2 gun platforms. That's the idea now. I'm considering if I can rush the third point, turn it into a 3 versus 2, which if we can keep up we will win by points, but I decide against it because that's about the point where their reinforcements will come in. They have just destroyed a fairly large amount of ships, so they most definitely are getting the reinforcements as we speak.
We serve.
That's where their second Synapse ship is. Yes, somewhat slow, we are crawling ahead trying to get ourselves that second point, so we are not losing in points compared to them.
Aye, Admiral.
And we also send out a fighter squadron to that point, because you can see that there is something incoming there.
Fury interceptors in flight.
Fighters, and their battleships have
Await your
6.
command.
So 4 is something that sounds hopeful,
Ship ready.
because if it's only 4, it doesn't mean a battleship. So it should be fine, right? Well, that's when those 2 appear. They aren't terribly big ships, thankfully, but these are still pretty terrible in close quarters, and those are now in our face, so yeah. Ships have already opened up their broadsides onto the
We are
incoming
ready
larger
to serve.
fleet. And yeah, they are
Ship ready.
clutching us there, and we'll be... Normally they clutch you like that and then board you immediately. So, not sure if they fail that one. Yeah, we are trying to move the 2 battleships out of the way for the incoming fleet. Don't want to get hammered by them. And you can see that they have indeed boarded that ship, which I believe is our Mars battlecruiser, and he will start losing
Aye,
troops
Admiral.
real fast now. Even if it's
Heading
only like
acknowledged.
2 stacks.
Rouse the engines to fury.
We are burning there and nearly missing the target. So we actually have to swing around because we want to bring our remaining Nova cannon shots online and just give them a good welcoming shot, while our broadside should be firing at these 2 incoming ships. They aren't terribly big ships, so I'm thinking that 2 battleships and a cruiser and a battle cruiser should be able to broadside these guys into oblivion, especially if they for some reason
Your
decide
orders?
to ram our cruisers, because tonnage still applies, and I'm not too worried about these 2 ships just yet. So one could ask the question why I'm not running faster than. What I'm worried about is those incoming ships. Checking the status of the Nova cannons, they are still too far away for the Nova barrage. Maybe we should stop moving around that much. I know this makes the battles longer and the videos more boring, so I will try and keep an eye for that. The small ship is almost dead. Yeah, he just got destroyed. He's in close range with our other ships now, so not too worried just yet. The other one is closing in on us.
Your orders.
We will just use our lance weapons to destroy it. Our broadside should be able to take care of it. We still do not see what else is incoming from that direction, but it's almost time for the battleships to turn around, because we will need their Nova cannons as well. Supercharged war shield, not really useful against needs. It's not their firepower that's really destructive. It's their boarding and their massive speed, so, and their ramming, which will hurt you ultimately. So the supercharged war shield is actually not so good. I would say that it won't help us much in this case. Okay. Cloud, stop mopping around. You need to capture that point and just get rid of that one ship. You can do it. I'm still really worried about it, so you can see that I'm just trying to
serve the
decide what
Omnisire.
I'm supposed to do with these guys. Okay, I'm stopping
ready.
the engines and I want them to rotate around. So they
Underway.
turn the other side of the broadsides. I mean the other side of the ships. To these guys, so the broadsides can still fire at it, while the Nova cannons are getting ready to be sending some greeting shots. Sadly, the accuracy of our ships is not the best.
We serve.
They are still fairly new, but that hit there
Burn
puts fire on
retros.
the guys, so
Machine spirit
they
appeased.
are almost there and are getting ready to be greeted by the Nova cannon shots. They just use their movement skills and they seem to have rammed each other. I really wish they would do that more often. It's a really nice thing for them to do. We started shooting our turret lances and
State your order.
they have just moved, so they should be able they should not be able to jump out of the Nova cannons again. But honestly, I do not know what their cooldown of that movement is that they have. The battleships haven't turned around yet, so they are just waiting to
serve the Omnisire.
find themselves a target. And now we have found
Aye,
something.
Admiral.
You see, they have moved the second time, because these are just cheaters. The mobility on their large ships is just really annoying. The fact that they can repeatedly use that forward movement skill is just not nice. You can see a very large number of fighters there, which means that they do have the air superiority, even though I have both plenty of carriers myself. And since they have moved ahead and we missed those two Nova cannon shots, I'm gonna try and put a disruption bomb in their path, hoping that their larger ships walk into it and have their shields removed, because Nids also have super powerful shields. What else don't they have? So we are lining up the cooldowns there, trying to get rid of them. Meanwhile, this guy seems to have come into range here. He didn't ram us, but he's like in our face. And also, there is a piece of Tyranid in front of us, which is blocking some shots, so not quite nice. But alright, okay, we are doing what we can.
Receiving your
There's
order.
some plasma macro battery shots coming in. Get to see if they hit. Now they have moved and they are just standing there, so I hope that they will be hit right now. They are, but they are not destroyed. They have removed their shields, so maybe we can kill them. This guy is burning, and half, but meanwhile we can see that those are actually not small ships. Also, by coming into the circle, he managed to stop us from capping that point. That's also quite evil of it. We are gonna put a stasis bomb there, maybe, on that guy. See if we can stop it from advancing, and even though it's not the largest ship, I don't want to get hit by it just yet. And we are getting dangerous to close. Those are cruisers, I believe. So I decide to use the cybernetic orb and then just boost away, try and get behind their main fleet with the synapse ship and just move away. And they have already boarded. That's 4 boarding actions on our Arc Mechanicus, which is gonna hurt the troop numbers.
We serve.
great, but we are not capping the points. We have one more ship incoming there. Now, the cruiser has used up all his charges, so I decide to replace
Wait
him
your
with
command.
just getting something with more Nova cannon shots. I actually forgot to change
Impossible, Admiral.
the speed of the ships, so they were sitting there not moving. Again, no mistake from me. And once again he manages to move into the circle and stop me from capping it. Evil bastard. Meanwhile they are shooting hard at the gun platforms.
We wait your command.
That's good stuff.
Enemy ship crippled by the lightning strike.
Cruiser is leaving there. We are
We
trying
serve.
to cap, but he will actually stop us and manage to capture that one.
We serve.
Ship is jumping out. Has done its job.
Lightning strike successful.
Meanwhile, our two battleships are trying to close in onto the
Warp drive
enemy
approaching full
battlecruiser,
function.
which is their
The
sister
enemy
ship.
has
Just
accumulated
get behind it,
25% of strategic
because
points.
There are even the Tyranids don't shoot backwards, although they can turn around real fast. So sailing, and you can shoot out their engines. So the usual tactic of flying into the enemy formation and being behind them doesn't work with the Tyranids, because they are better at brawling than you and just a lot more mobile, and you can't slow them down. So yay for that as well. And still we are trying to
Setting course.
disengage from those two more ships that came at us, and meanwhile get behind
Assault
that
crews
battle
report
cruiser
success.
and just try to whittle it down with some fire. Alternatively, I could have shot the first fleet there, or ship there, which is at our gun platform. Didn't do that. We have some,
Ship ready.
I believe these are fighters, these harpies or whatever they are called. I'm not sure what,
damage to the corrupted machine.
small ship is doing there, but yeah, this is where he decides to
Aye,
turn.
Admiral.
Interesting choice. I thought it would be
Coordinates
coming
acknowledged.
for the stations, but it's not. It's
Machine spirit
decided
appeased.
to come for our ships, and you
All
can see
ahead,
it has
full.
these devouring claws, which means that if he manages to ram our ship, it's gonna hurt a lot.
State your order.
It's gonna really hurt a lot. Finally, our new ship has entered the map, and we can start boosting with it, which we are doing now. We want it to get up there and possibly do a torpedo run at the Nids. This guy is just coming dangerously
Your orders?
close, and you can see the boarding actions being stacked up on my ship. Now, weapon destroyed. We actually managed to destroy its claws, the fangs at the front of the ship, so it can no
Ship
longer
ready.
ram us that efficiently. You could see that it literally got destroyed on the picture of the ship. This is pretty much the best news we had in this fight at that point, because it was a real...
Changing course.
It could have done a lot of damage to us. My battle cruiser Mars is trying
Receiving
to
your order.
um,
Legio Cybernetica have boarded the enemy.
capture that point, and meanwhile we destroy one of the broadside weapons as well. So we are doing pretty good at crippling this ship.
To serve the
Eventually
Omnisire.
it managed to board us and get a lot of
We wait your command.
troops down. Meanwhile, our gun platform has been boarded to death by the
machine.
ship in front. It's actually moving out has boarded the other one to death as well. I could have actually chosen not to scuttle them. I'm not sure why I did that. Probably would have made more sense to just give it some
We lost the defense platform.
troops.
Warp engines
I
active.
managed to do that. They managed to come at me again at the circle, and I lose the progress I made at it. Sadly, we couldn't capture it from the nids.
Your orders?
So I decide to jump out with that Mars battle cruiser because it really doesn't have that much DPS as well.
Underway.
And I need more DPS on the field now, either in the form of Nova cannons or something else. But we need to be able to
Coordinates acknowledged.
to put more hurt into the nids. Now this ship, the battle cruiser Armageddon, is coming up for a torpedo run. I was considering to ram this ship, but ran out of gauge. So we are going for a torpedo run there. Now watch
Cruising
what's
speed
gonna
set.
happen. You can see the shield bar of
Heading
that
acknowledged.
ship, and I think you can guess what's going to happen. Line up the torpedoes,
We lost the
and then
defense
decide
platform.
to turn back to go behind
Course
them.
engaged.
We are moving into their formation with the
We are ready
battleships.
to serve.
That's to shoot down, broadside them with both sides, and you can see
Plotting retreat.
they managed to destroy with a single salvo of their turrets. All our torpedoes were just gone. So yay for that. Extremely bad timing on that torpedo run there. You should have waited for the shield to regenerate and use it at a better position. But c'est la vie. We are now advancing ahead.
We serve. Understood.
Two battleships are putting some hurt into
Setting
their fleet.
course.
Now we are trying to close up with the Armageddon to do more damage to them, to be able to actually broadside both of the ships there. This one is almost dead now. Two battleships bringing both broadsides up just does a
Receiving
lot
your
of damage
order.
to both of them. You can see the feeding tentacle on our ship there, so we're trying to boost away. We need to get away from its range because it's gonna stack us full with boarding charges. 'Cause
Engaging engines.
we have received one of the cruisers in place of the battle cruiser
Aye, Admiral.
that jumped out. We are trying
serve
to
the
move
Omnisire.
out with the Archon because this plasma macro battle is finished off that one ship there.
Heading acknowledged.
Side ramp this ship by boosting away. As you can see, that's not quite working for us, and the Synapse ship is still not dead. We're trying to pull it behind our own
Machine
lines to
spirit
protect it,
appeased.
but I can already tell that it's probably gonna get hard with so
Calculating
many
vectors.
boarding charges on it and so few troops that
We
we
serve.
don't have much of a chance. Put up a disruption bomb. We really need to destroy those
We wait your
guys
command.
in this direction. They have shields up, so the disruption bomb would be really helpful.
Setting
We're
course.
trying another torpedo run, thinking that the guy who just boosted after us will keep moving ahead, and nope. it
Setting
doesn't.
course.
We are supercharging the shields, but it doesn't really protect from the nids because
Engaging
they
drive.
just go through the shields, especially their
Your
boarding.
orders?
It just since it ignores. As you can
Coordinates
see,
acknowledged.
they all stopped dodging the second torpedo volley that we shot at them. Great game. The AI has really gotten better at that, and
spirits
as I have
obey.
said before, I am not good with torpedoes. So second volley we also missed, and we are almost
Ship ready.
going into our own ship there.
Changing course.
It's kind of sad. And now they have damaged their generator. So
Aye, Admiral.
I choose to board here Although, honestly, I should have kept that. You can see that it's almost out of troops, and I'm trying to do a call to arms to reduce the last stacks, but the next pick up the ship actually is going to hulk it.
Optimal course set.
Call to arms is an interesting skill.
Understood.
It does so much reduction to the efficiency of the ship that it's really hard to use well. Essentially, if you are in close range and try to protect with it, you're gonna nerf yourself really bad, and then they just pummel you to death. This is also a strategy that I like to use, that I focus fire or focus board the ships that I want to get behind, and then when they pop their call to arms skill, then I will just get behind them and shoot
The
them
enemy
into
has seized
oblivion.
a strategic area.
Sadly, this doesn't work with the needs because they are the better boarders, and right now we are really close with them. But finally, we managed to get rid of that synergy. We still have a battle cruiser and the battleship here.
Your orders?
And cruiser to
Underway.
fight him off. He's coming in for a ram now, and just suicides with it. He's also coming in for a ram, taking out most of his own health. Actually, this helped us quite a lot there. And you can see one of those ships goes feral. Even though it has moral left, I guess it went feral before the last enough ships entered the battle.
We serve.
Came in for one more round, destroying itself and stuff. At this point, I think I have won. At this point, I thought I have already won, because there are two small ships there. We have 800 points of lead against them, and we have destroyed two of the Synapse ships. What could they bring?
Course engaged.
Yeah, that's how we thought it's gonna play out.
Calculating vectors.
By this time we have been battling really long, and we will see what happens in a moment. The ship is feral there. I'm coming up with the cruiser, trying to get in range for troop transfer. It will cost me one troop on that cruiser, but it will recover the Arc Mechanicus, which now, although severely damaged and understaffed, it still has a lot of firepower. So I'm gonna try and move it towards the back of the map, on the edge of the map, and turn the broadsides onto that escaping ship and those two small ships that are up there. The plan is here that whatever is coming at us, we will form a wall facing the broadsides at it and use the two large ships. Now you could probably hear the change in music. I sped up the video here because due to some bad choices that I'm gonna make, it's gonna be a real long one, and I'm trying to make you watch less boring stuff, so I have sped up the video to like 3 times the speed. The soundtrack is kind of funny. It sounds like some EDM song. So what's happening here, as you can see, that was 6 dots there. 6 dots is a battleship. So I'm trying to move the Arc Mechanicus behind the battle cruiser and the battleship, and just leave it there for support, and this is when I see that. That's a battleship. The last Synapse ship is a battleship. And we have a half health, half troop Apocalypse, which has no Nova Cannon shots left and has terrible DPS. I think it's the lowest from all the battleships. We have a battle cruiser, and we have one cruiser, and we have an Arc Mechanicus with a single troop. So, based on my previous experience with the Nids, where I have once managed to win conquest battle by chasing around with them, I decide to run. I don't want to face them head on, and this is where I also find out that it has one more battle cruiser there, which was just stalking close by. Because of course the Nids are always stealth by default, you know, not OP enough, they need to have that too. So yeah, we are running, we did not capture that point, we are trying to get away from that battleship, and we have 2 cruisers that enter the fray after the Arch Mechanicus leaves. Meanwhile, this our cruiser in the field got boarded, but is trying to get away. And I'm trying to go for the other 2-3 points. Meanwhile, these guys just got stuck at the edge of the map, and we're like dancing and generating hull damage for each other. So congrats to that, GG. I'm wasting a lot of time trying to untackle them. And meanwhile, that battle cruiser is trying to chase down my cruiser. So finally they are no longer stuck together, but they still need to enter the map and then move like real hard for that point. Our battleship and Grand Cruiser, I wish I had a Grand Cruiser, it's a battle cruiser, they are burning for the point held by the Nids. We had a pretty good lead on them, but they are 4-1 compared to us in conquest points now, so we are really trying to just capture it from them. And new mistake here, I burned for that spot, but forget about the ships and that they do not stop if you don't tell them to stop when they are burning. So that's gonna also bite us in the back or the butt. Yep, they managed to go past. So now we are just trying to capture all those 2 points. The Nids have meanwhile caught us up in points because they were at a point owning 4 and we only had 1, so not good. Meanwhile, our battleship is here, the Nids are already behind it. The Nids are just so much faster because, in case I haven't mentioned, they have the fastest moving battleships as well, because on top of their extra mobility with their lunges, they also have 160 speed, which is only matched by the Retribution. All the other battleships are at 120. So again, I don't know who thought that the Nids were balanced. Maybe in PvP they are somehow, but in this fight they definitely do not feel balanced. Maybe this is just me being bad, I don't know, but facing those battleships, they can just really wreck you hard, and I think they have a bit of too much of the goodies. While time is passing and we are trying to hold on, but again the Nids are capturing 3 points and we are really far from getting back to the other side of the map, and time is running out. Only 700, less than 800 points left. So I decide we have Nova Cannon shots left. We'll try and run the battle cruiser forward to capture 1 more point, but the battleship and the 3 cruisers will turn and try to fight the Nids. Let's see how that turns out for us. Really sounds like some disco music. We open up with an Eye of the Omnissiah. And they just lunged there. You could see that he actually rammed himself against the battleship, but didn't do too much damage. And the battleship just jumps out while the battle cruiser just stays out. So our first 2 shots missed. Thanks for that. Not annoying at all. We turn around. Okay, we have again Nova Cannons. Trying to line them up while the battleship, and again he jumps. He just jumped a moment ago and he dodges another Nova Cannon. That's just incredible that a battleship can move so fast. We decide to board him, play his own game. And you can see he is turning hard, he almost manages to get away, but finally we manage to hit him with some much needed damage. He still has the air superiority because that ship also has 6 hangars, while probably having higher DPS than my ship. He's coming in for a ram there, double jump, but this actually plays at our hands now because he places himself in front of my battleship and my cruiser. So even though he manages to hawk that ship, we claim it back and we go ahead and just blast through it. Speed might be not so good for this area, but we'll see. Essentially we rammed it. We rammed it with both ships. Now we are just moving ahead. Now it's us fighting a single battleship with 3 cruisers and our own battleship. If you can see it, I'm not quite sure because I think we're running out of video frames here. But its shield was nearly recharging when we finally managed to hit it again with Nova Cannons. It dodged another 2 shots by just being extremely mobile. I don't know how he can have that. It just sounds or seems so unfair for a battleship to be able to do that while yours are just lumbering hawks or whatever. But we somehow managed to win and we did not lose a single ship, although some of them were really wrecked, and after this terribly hard fight we got 200 renown. In retrospect, I had a fight where I earned 900 and it wasn't a story mission, so this just feels like we fought a really big battle for almost nothing. Yeah. Most of our ships are wrecked, have no crew left, but we managed to fend them off, so it's a victory, but not really something to cheer at. And we have low urgency now. So ultimately this was a really long battle, which drained me a lot, even though I was moving around and stopping. Now I have to decide what I will do. These 2 fleets managed to get away relatively well, they will be repaired, but this one just has no troops, so I'm checking whether I can move it somewhere where it can regenerate a bit, and the closest sector that can regen troops is Cadia, and even there it's only like 13, so I'm deciding that these guys will need to return here. The repair points could be done even in Medusa, but the troops would just take forever to make those ships useful again. They will get like 5 troops a turn, something stupid like that. So yeah, those need to definitely come back to Cadia and repair. And the video is about to end here. If you watched, thank you for that. Sorry about the quality issues, my mic really tricked me there, and I hope it won't be doing that again. So thank you for watching, and I see you at the next episode when we are fighting more Tyranids with probably even nastier ships. Until then, all the best to you. Bye bye.